o Vale do Douro sem vinhos, independente de quem é o dono do terreno, sem vinhos, o Vale do Douro não tem sustentabilidade económica. Este é o base de tudo, ou seja, alterações climáticas, fragilizar a nossa capacidade a fazer uvas no Vale do Douro. Não é só o fim de vinho do Porto e dos vinhos do Vale do Douro, é fim do sustentabilidade económica de muito parte daquela região. O Climate Change Leadership Summit que fazemos aqui em Porto é realisticamente uma oportunidade para sublinhar a necessidade de soluções. Ou seja, o lançamento do Porto Protocol, que é uma coisa básica que quer que as pessoas que fazem compromisso para fazer mais amanhã do que faz hoje e que elas partilhar as suas ideias, soluções, foi uma boa ideia. Eu acho que estimular pensamento, estimular pessoas e as respostas que eles recebem desde a conferência foi muito positiva. Ou seja, as pessoas entendem que não há tempo para falar mais, não há tempo por think tanks. O tempo agora é por action e por soluções.
It's up to us, to each and every one of us, to solve this problem. We cannot wait for governments, we cannot wait for international organizations. We have to act now, otherwise it's going to be too late. And each of us, from my son who is 12 years old to my mother who is past 80 years, we can all do something. And if we convince the population that we can do something, we will tackle this problem.
You have to relate the very gradual onset of these climate impacts to the day-to-day activities of the people. So if it is a farmer, you explain and they will understand. Look, there was a drought last year and that is partly caused by climate change. We have some scientific data. Then they begin to understand that something must be done because it affects their livelihood. And the Minister of Agriculture will understand because those farmers will go in a delegation to his office and he will get the message. I've worked with the IPCC since 1988 when it was first formed. And what we have done is, starting with pure climate science, which is predicting the future climate, we have moved to impacts of climate change, which is what we discussed, and then to mitigation of climate change, which is how do we reduce the emissions that cause climate change. Based on unsustainable debt. There is a small and reducing number of scientists who are climate skeptics, who do not believe in climate change. I think this group will eventually disappear automatically, right? But the people who do not take part in climate action are a little different. some of them may not believe in climate change. Others know that it is climate change, but they are too lazy to change.
Companies are always going to do what's best for them. Companies are not going to make decisions based on ethical considerations or whether what I do or don't do is good for the planet. But they will always make reasonable decisions. What we have to tell companies is that the market is going one way. 92% of consumers prefer, if you give them a choice between two products or two services under equal conditions and equal price, 92% of the consumers are going to choose a product that is responsible with the environment. Now that's a great opportunity, because if you, as a CEO of a company, if you're able to offer your clientele a product that is responsible with the environment, they're going to buy your product over the competition. Now talk about a business opportunity.
I'm invited to many dozens of conferences. I choose 1 out of every 10 invitations I get. Why did I choose Porto, this meeting, the Climate Leadership Summit? For 3 reasons. One is that it is unique. This is an industry grouping which has got together to do something practical, right? Second, of course, because President Obama is coming, and then you realize it's going to have fair impact. The third one is the protocol, because what it says is, yes, we are starting with the wine industry, but what I have recommended to the people, organizers, is it must be allowed to broaden. We know that governments alone cannot solve this problem. First is that they don't have the capabilities, too complex, or the resources. Second is governments in different countries do not agree. So you have differences. But if you come to industries and commercial groups, they have a lot of resources and they cut across national boundaries. The wine producers in Portugal have the same interests as in Spain or France. So you can build coalitions. And then you can bring in cities and civil society and communities. So you are, in fact, helping governments to do the job.
So I am absolutely convinced that the Paris Accords are going to continue. I am absolutely sure that the clear path forward has been defined and has been set already. There's only one country on earth right now that has not signed the Paris Agreement, which is the United States of America. But the rest of the world has not only chosen what the path is, but they have decided to double down. They've decided that even if the United States leaves, they know very well where the world needs to go. Now let's analyze what's happening in the United States. President Trump has taken the United States out of the accord. But what's really interesting is that the great majority of the population in the United States want their government to do more, not less. According to CNN, 73% of the American people want their government to be more responsible. And yet you have Donald Trump appealing to their economic, political bases, which are a minority. We're beginning to see how people are organizing around the country to defend the environment. We're seeing demonstrations of 300,000-400,000 people in different cities. We see how 23 of the 50 governors of the United States have decided to join forces and have their states comply with the Paris Accords, which is incredible because only one state of those 23, it's California. And if California were a country, they would be the 5th largest economy in the world. So I think that the United States being out of the Paris Accords slows down the progress, but it does not change direction. It changes the speed. The world, the economy will be greener and will be more responsible with the environment to a great extent because of the Paris Accords.
Eu acho que um dos sucessos do evento do dia 6 de julho foi a ideia de que a possibilidade de uma plataforma onde as pessoas podem partilhar a sua informação. Ou seja, as minhas conversas com gente implica que elas têm ideias, queres fazer mais, mas precisa exemplares do o que funciona bem, o que não funciona. E o objetivo foi isso. O objetivo do Porto Protocol é para o funcionamento da plataforma. E agora espero que pessoas continuem a fazer a adesão, porque, do meu ponto de vista, o sucesso do Porto Protocol é a capacidade de funcionar com um bolo de neve. Mais aderentes, mais informação partilhada com a plataforma, mais valor para todos. Ou seja, este é o primeiro e a principal vantagem do Summit e o lançamento do Porto Protocol, é o entendimento que junto nós podemos encontrar soluções e junto nós podemos tentar resolver este problema das alterações climáticas.
For wine, I know this, that the chemistry of the grape and the balance and all of that in the growing and all that affects the quality of the wine. Okay, because wine is a taste and it's very, for the customer, it's a very specific experience. That is what they are buying a bottle of wine for. So climate affects all of that. For the Douro region and also for other wine growing areas, we can do what are called vulnerability, impact, and adaptation mechanism assessment. And through that you find you predict what is the climate change in 20 years, how maybe the temperature will be 2 degrees higher or something, and the rainfall will be less. And then you can see whether maybe you can change the orientation of the vineyard, or you can breed some type of grape which is resistant to this. So, but you have to have time to do this. So the time to do the assessment is now. For adaptation, I can assure you the costs of adapting are much less than the damage you will avoid. So you have to do it.
I think the Porto Protocol can be extrapolated to other industries. We can learn from coffee, we can learn from tea, we can learn from different industries, and also those industries can learn from the wine industry. You know, having President Obama, and I think it's the first time he comes to Porto, we have helped this city to make a little bit of history, so that makes us very, very proud.
O objetivo agora é que, com o lançamento do Porto Protocol, é para angariar mais aderentes, para trabalhar durante os próximos meses para planear a conferência do dia 6 e 7 de março de 2019, onde nós fazemos a conferência do Climate Change Leadership Solutions for the Wine Industry, que nós partilhamos informação com todos os colegas de outra parte do mundo. Há muita gente que vem à Europa para ter a sua presença do ProVine, que vão aqui ao Porto, dentro da sua viagem ao ProVine, para partilhar as suas experiências, as suas soluções com outros no evento em março de 2019.